Hello everyone. In today's video, I'll be trying to use up some of the junk I've been keeping, and honestly, there's quite a lot of it. Well, at least according to me. It might not seem like much to some of you, but I don't really like holding on to too many scraps. My goal today is to use as much of this junk material as possible. I'll probably have to create a few pages because there's no way I can use all of this on a single page. And I honestly don't know why I have been keeping some of these tiny pieces, but I think it's part of my tendency to hold on to things just in case they'll be useful someday. I think you also can relate. Well, some of you. Today's video will be a little different from my usual videos because I'll be talking throughout the process, and I hope you enjoy it. This is the journal I've been using for my junk journaling. Some of these pages might look familiar because you've probably seen them in my shorts. As you can see, the journal is getting quite full and it's becoming a bit difficult to keep all the pages together. And I've been thinking about removing some pages. If you have any tips on how to keep junk journal pages together, please let me know in the comments. For this spread, I removed a chunk from the middle and kept the first page because it was my intro page. And I'm also considering detaching all the pages once I finish the journal. If you've done something similar, I'd love to hear your suggestions. You probably won't hear much of the page sounds in this video because I forgot to turn off my fan. And my washing machine was also running, so there was quite a bit of background noise. And we'll try to make 2 pages today. And also I tried to include as much of the behind the scenes process as possible without trimming too much from the footage. That's something I'm experimenting with for the first time, and I hope you enjoy it. This scrap from a Pizza Hut paper bag was also used on a previous page. I'll link the video here. I think I can use the rest of it on this page and also on another page. By the way, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Let me know in the comments below. And for glue, I'm using a local glue stick. I've also been using binder glue, which has great adhesive power, but it can get a little messy, so I don't use it as often. This piece is another leftover scrap from previous projects. If you like adding cardboard packaging to your journal pages, it can create some really interesting texture. Personally, I like to keep my pages as thin as possible because extra layers take up a lot of space, but it's completely up to you. And yes, I've been keeping this tissue paper too. I honestly don't know why. Anyway, I decided to use it here. It didn't turn out exactly how I imagined, but that's okay. This is junk journaling, and imperfections are part of the process. You can always do whatever feels right to you, especially when working with leftovers. As you can see, I've been holding onto these tiny pieces for quite a while and using them in several of my previous videos. Again, I tore away some of the extra layers. You can definitely keep them if you want. They'll make your journal even chunkier. And one thing I've noticed is that I tend to think too much about placement. I always want everything to look balanced and symmetrical. Because of that, I sometimes spend way too much time deciding where to put things. But today I try to work a little faster, overthinking less, and simply using materials I already have. And I think it actually helped. Sometimes thinking too much isn't the best thing when you're trying to be creative. And this tag is from a dress I bought. And these are more leftovers that I've been saving. Sometimes I genuinely don't know why I kept them. A tiny piece of a sticker, for example. And if you watch my previous videos, you've probably noticed that I use a lot of sugar sachets in my journals. And I've used some in here as well. At this point, I felt like the page needed a quote because it still seemed unfinished. So I grabbed a brown paper bag and started tearing pieces from it. How about you? Do you usually search for quotes online or do you come up with your own? When I try to work quickly and avoid overthinking, things sometimes end up looking a little messy. This quote just came to my mind while I was working, but I think it's one that many of us can relate to. And then I added a little shadow behind the quote. I wasn't completely sure about it at first, but I thought it would add some depth. And after that, I rounded the corners, which is honestly one of my favorite parts. It's so satisfying. And if you like the page on the back of the one we are making right now, I created that page using receipts. I'll link that video for you as well. And finally, I punched the holes, which is another oddly satisfying step in the process. And that's it for part 1. I hope you enjoyed creating with me today. See you in part 2, where we'll make the next page.